Hey everyone, my name is Ryan Hargrove. I'm an associate professor in the Department of Landscape Architecture at the University of Kentucky. I teach primarily design studios, and I've been using Unrulr in my foundational or first year design studio. Relationship is everything. At the essence of how I teach is a personal relationship with each student, right? Like I get to know each student, not only the way they think, how they best communicate, but I have to know what's in their heart. I have to know where they want to grow, what's preventing them from growing, what are their superpowers. The best way to connect in that way is to understand someone's story. Even a better way to connect is to be a part of their story as it unfolds. As a design educator, I am of the belief that a student grows through their own personal journey about how they can become a better thinker, specifically a creative thinker. Then that gives them capacity to solve complex problems. Building culture and building relationships is the garden in which all great things happen. So that begins with, these foundational elements that you hope to build in students: empathy, curiosity, observation, listening. And those become the core capacity, the core qualities that you hope to build. All of the other tools and skill sets we can layer in as they grow. But having that fertile soil, using our garden analogy, for those things to really flourish and become foundational to who they are as a person and a designer is how we operate. So to think about learning as story is the most beautiful way to think about it, because it implies imperfection, it implies authenticity, and it implies connection. And those are the ways that you grow the most. What Unrulr did is allowed a continuous thread of dialogue that ultimately is told through a story. It's a powerful way to learn. It's a powerful way to grow. And I think from a teaching standpoint, it's a powerful way to connect to your students. I think it really breaks this mold of focusing on product oriented artifacts or outcomes and really shifts that to a process mindset. And it's only in that shift that discovery of self can really happen. It becomes all of the in between, not just the artifacts, the thinking and the feeling that fills the in between of when I'm at their desk or when they're pinning up is really creates a cohesive experience. One of the things that I've found really empowering about Unrulr is it began the semester with a call to them to look inward, to share outward, and to hopefully grow upward. And Unrulr has really unlocked the capacity to do that. So we're building in students the capacity to have, an awareness of how they think. Through that awareness, build understanding. And with that understanding, build both confidence and the capacity to change as thinkers in a positive way. And it's those three things in concert that have really, Unrulr has really been able to unlock. I also believe that that growth happens through reflection. And Unrulr provides a way that that reflection is not only supported, but I think is an innovative way in which reflection becomes everything you do. And the focus becomes on that reflection rather than a checkpoint or a tool or a task. It becomes a way of operating is through this reflection in action. Unrulr becomes design. It is a way of operating. It is not the way, but it is a story in which your growth as a designer, your existence as a designer unfolds. And it's a way that becomes not only a checkpoint, but an accelerator and a fertilizer to your growth. Unrulr, through story and through connection with community, allowed that garden to happen and allowed that garden to have that fertilizer for all these wonderful things, which are the foundational pieces of our department, the way we operate to work in studio. As they became more comfortable with Unrulr, you began to see time lapse video. You began to see narration of their work. You began to see self reflection through video moments that were feeling based and emotion based. And then you saw beautiful interpretations across a project that were all of these woven together. And that's where the storytelling component really flourishes. And you see the student's self and their story of how they're growing, how they're a designer, and just who they are unfold before you. And then at the same time, within the community, everyone's story is unfolding, and the beautiful intersections that happen among the stories is where I think Unruler actually becomes art and not just a technical base in which you can understand yourself. And as a thinker, it's actually a quite beautiful tapestry of life. So if I get to the end of the semester and I've learned about that student and they've grown in the capacity to learn about themselves, that's a win for me. That's a home run. That's a home run. Whether they learned how to draw better, whether they learned a skill on the computer, they can learn all of that in time. But having that foundational element of understanding of self, the power of reflection, and how to tell story and how story amplifies, that's the foundation that you want and continue to grow. So when I think of Unruler, I don't think of it as a digital platform, or I don't think of it as a tool that they're using to get to an end product. I think it's just an environment in which you operate or think or grow as through a community.